So I watched Joker Folie, Deux, aka Joker 2, and it was a mess. If you don't know, Joker 2 is a sequel to 2019's Joker, but this movie has a twist. Unlike the first Joker movie, which was a straight drama ripoff of Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy, Joker 2 is a musical co-starring Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn for some reason. But that is the least of this movie's absolutely baffling decisions. The movie picks up 2 years after the first Joker movie left off, with Arthur Fleck, aka the Joker Baby, in prison for his various crimes he committed during the first movie. He is going to stand trial soon, and a lot of this movie is just a very boring courtroom drama interspersed with bad musical numbers. And let me get this out of the way. I'm not like a big fan of musicals. There are musicals that I do like. I can't say I'm like a huge fan of the genre. If something's a musical, it generally makes me less interested in watching it unless it's like a Disney animated movie. But I can still appreciate the art and craft of like what makes a good musical. All of the musical segments in this movie were very bad. I don't think Joaquin Phoenix is a very good singer, and even Lady Gaga, who is a very good singer, it's like whisper singing, and I don't really know the proper musical terms to explain this, but it almost seemed like the songs, since they weren't the typical type of thing that she normally sings, she wasn't giving a very good vocal performance singing them, and it just didn't sound right. The musical sequences also always feel like they're interrupting the plot rather than advancing it, like in a good musical. Every musical scene doesn't tell us anything we don't already know, whereas typically in a musical, characters are singing about their motivations or there's information revealed. It just interrupts conversations. They'll just be having a normal conversation and they'll start singing for some reason. There are two types of musical sequences in this movie. Ones that are fantastical and are on a stage or have some sort of backdrop and set piece, and ones where it's just the characters singing in the environment that they're actually in. I thought that the set pieces for the musicals were good but not great when they're like a fantasy sequence and they're singing on stage and stuff. I think they definitely could have brought more to it. I think they should have been more elaborate, bigger, more colorful. I mean, I thought they were fine. I wasn't like, oh, these look terrible. The other musical sequences that don't have like a big set piece, I did not like the lack of color in them. Let me explain. The movie has a very green color grade to it, very similar to like The Matrix. It's clearly intended to show Arthur's state of being. Green is a color that you don't really see with light, so it gives everything like a sickly quality. It's showing that he's trapped and he's miserable, and that's why it has this green color grade. It gives a very unsettling and unnatural feel to the criminal mental hospital that he's in. But when he starts singing, or when he's in the scenes with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, the color grade should change to be lighter and more colorful to show that he's happy, to illustrate his mental state of being. But instead, the scenes, regardless of his current emotional state, all have that ugly green color grade. Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga's relationship as Harley and the Joker is central to this movie, and I thought it was very weak. I don't think they have a lot of good chemistry. I don't think that Harley's performance was very good. I don't think their relationship was interesting. It wasn't anything I wanted to see more of. It's the crux of the whole movie, and it's incredibly weak. While I thought that Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn was pretty weak, I do think that Joaquin Phoenix is giving a great performance as Arthur Fleck / the Joker. You really feel the character's despair throughout the movie and his mental instability. He does a great job portraying that. And I would also like to highlight Lee Gill, who has a great emotional scene in the movie. I honestly think it was the best performance of the whole film, and it comes at a pivotal plot point during the movie. Speaking of plot, unfortunately, the movie is mostly boring. Like I said earlier, it's mostly just a boring courtroom drama where nothing really happens and it's not very interesting, interrupted by Harley and the Joker hanging out and singing. poorly. And then towards the end, it becomes completely ridiculous and stupid and terrible in ways that it had not been before that point. And it enters the realm of fucking bizarre. The biggest question I had throughout this movie is, who is this for? It's a movie that has no audience. It is for no one. The first Joker made $1 billion. While I think that it sucks, it was a huge success critically and with audiences. General audiences do not like musicals. They always underperform at the box office. They do not do good with the general audience. So it being a musical is already incredibly off-putting. And then you watch the movie and it's just miserable and it's terrible and it's full of baffling plot decisions, and you just watch it and you're like, why did they make this movie? Who is this for? It's a sequel to a movie that made $1 billion, and this one had a $200 million budget, which you would not think, based on the limited amount of shooting locations, the small cast, and the musical set pieces not being grandiose and as huge as they could be. It's not even close to being one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like I said, it's mostly boring. It's shot really well. The cinematography is amazing in this movie, and it has some solid performance. So it's not like the worst movie ever. It's not even in the top 5 worst movies I've seen this year, but it's one of the most baffling movies I've ever seen. Every decision, you're just like, what? It just makes no sense. Anyway, I would not recommend Joker 2. It's a baffling mess. It makes no sense. They never even play if the Joker could beatbox in it. Anyway, for real though, don't watch this movie. It's not good. Anyway, who is your favorite actor of the 45 actors who have played the Joker? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, check out my video on Has Been Hotel to see me talk about another musical I hate.